All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sales Booster. Sales Booster is a mastermind mostly of clients who are connected through Adam Connects. And today we've opened the doors. We have a very special guest today who's going to talk to us about sales. If you cringe when you hear the word sales, don't worry. Eric's going to walk you through it, and you are in the right place. So he's not going to be teaching you how to be a salesperson. He's going to teach you how to be in service. It's in alignment with what Jay does. It's in alignment with what Mark does. It's definitely in alignment with what Madeline does. So you guys are in for a really great treat for that today. Eric, is there anything you'd like to say before we get started?
The only thing I want to check in on is how long did you want me to go today?
15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Does that work
Excellent.
for you?
It does.
Cool. Yeah, because, I have a feeling that once you do 15, 20 minutes, people are going to want to have more. I also want to leave a little bit of time that if anybody on the call wants to interact, ask questions, they'd be able to as well.
Fantastic.
Cool. Before we get started with Eric, open floor. Any other comments or notions from people in the room right now? So real quick, I want you to think about your product. I want you to think about your service. And I want you to think about how you show up. Put that in the forefront of your mind. Go ahead, clear everything else out, because it's all about that value, that impact that you have being in your purpose in the world. And today we're going to talk to you about how to be in that service, because the only way you can do that without closing sales is to do it for free. So it's okay to do it for free. I love that you guys give away some of your knowledge, your wisdom for free. I love to do that, but it has to also be supported on the back end for sales. And that's why we have Eric Lofholm coming to you live from California. I know Eric from way back when he was working with Tony Robbins, that when you look at their pictures together, Tony looks so much younger than he does today, but Eric looks exactly the same. Because Tony's been all stressed out and Eric has just lived that sweet life where everything works well. Eric, go ahead and finish your own introduction, and I turn the floor over to you.
Fantastic. And before I jump in, Mark, you're partners with David Ricklin. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I've known David for many years, and I finally put two and two together as you were telling who you are. I was like, oh, that must be David's partner. Really great to meet you. And I've attended your guys' events in the past, so great to see you here.
And I love this topic. Again, I loved it when Adam said, who cringed when they heard sales? Because I know so many heart-centered people who have a distaste for it. And it's this is such an important topic for people who want to make an impact. So I'm so glad to be part of your call.
Awesome. Adam, could you set up where I can do the screen share?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm excited to be with all of you here today. We're just doing just a little short, 20 minutes or so. I am going to talk about embracing sales. And one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is selling, and they have resistance to sales. And the reason for that is there's a stigma to sales in our culture. And entrepreneurs, I'm an entrepreneur too, we're passionate about what we do. If you're a coach, you're passionate about what you do. If you have a service, you're passionate about it. But maybe you're uncomfortable selling, and your mindset is, hey, I want to serve people. I don't want to have to sell my product or service. And so that thought of resisting sales can cause you to leave a lot of business on the table. So what my outcome today is to give you the possibility of a new way of thinking about sales. And I have been searching for breakthrough ideas since 1988. I was 17 back then. I'm 51 now. And it all started with this book, You Can Heal Your Life, by Louise Hay. Some of you know the name Louise Hay, a very famous woman. She's no longer with us. Maybe you've even read the book. And in this book, she said, thoughts are things and things can be changed. And that was mind-blowing to me. So if you have resistance to sales, That's a thought, and a thought is a thing, and a thing can be changed. So we're gonna talk about thoughts and how thoughts impact what we produce in reality. And I'm going to give you one of the greatest distinctions I've learned in studying this information since 1988. I'm going to go through my story very briefly since we're short on time. I started off as a cook at McDonald's. I went to community college for 5 years and never graduated. I'm still a couple of units shy of that elusive AA degree. And I ended up in sales. And this is me in my early 20s at my first sales job. And I was the bottom producer for an entire year. So if any of you have ever struggled in sales before, or if you're struggling in sales right now, I want you to know I understand, because that's exactly where I was at. And I was written up for missing quota 2 months in a row and told I had one more month or I was out. And I met this gentleman. This is Dr. Donald Moyne, author of Unlimited Selling Power. And he's just a brilliant sales trainer. And so I started studying under him, and I took what he taught me when I was on quota probation. I made quota by one sale, did 10,500. The quota was 10,000. The next month I did 51,000. So I went from worst to first in 60 days. I experienced a breakthrough, and I've never looked back. You're one idea away from a sales breakthrough. And I'm going to see if I can land one with you today that can help you. And you can apply this idea to other areas of your life as well, because it's an idea about thinking. I then went and worked for Tony Robbins. I had a 3-year run as an employee of Tony's. Then I started a company, Eric Lofholm International. We're a global sales training organization. Our mission is to help people make more sales. And most of our training is done now virtually, like what you and I are doing right now. I'm endorsed by some of the biggest names in the industry. You probably recognize one or more of these individuals. These are endorsements of my work: Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins, Jay Abraham, and the great Les Brown, who is also a friend of mine. This is my family. I have 4 kids, 3 teenagers. My son just turned 20. I live in Rockland, California. It's a small little town just outside of Sacramento. So what changed for me, the thing that made the biggest difference in my life, to go from a college dropout, former cook at McDonald's, bottom producing salesperson, is a change in thinking. And that's what we're going to talk about today as it relates to sales. Now, I recently learned this, and that is when you reverse engineer results, because that's what we all want, right? You're here because you want more results in some area of your life. You want more clients, or more followers on your social media, or more speaking engagements, or more joint venture partners, or you want to build your team, or you want the new car in the driveway, or you want to buy a new house, or you want to eliminate your credit card debt, or build your wealth, right? We all have things that we want. And so much of the training in the world that we're all a part of, the personal development world, the Think and Grow Rich, the Tony Robbins, the Brian Tracy world, so much of this world, it's about the goals. And I think we've been overtrained on goal setting. So goals or results, right? So what's before results? Well, it's action. If you want to get more clients, you got to, take action. You got to run more sales calls. And that's where most people end their thinking around this topic. But what's before action is thought. So the breakthrough idea is your results are created from your actions, and your actions are created from your thoughts. So if you're wanting more sales results, explore the thoughts that are creating the lack of sales results that you're currently getting. So if you're getting 1 client a month and you want 5, my point is this: what are the thoughts that you have that are creating 1 client? And what do the thoughts need to be in order for you to create the 5 clients, which is what you want? Because if you don't change the thinking, you're going to be stuck in this action result cycle, which you might resonate with, that looking back on your life and going, yeah, I'm wanting to grow my net worth, but my thought is I'm not good with money, or I spend it as soon as I make it, or I never have enough money left over to invest. So that thought creates the action, which creates the result. So this is why resisting sales is such a challenge, because if you have the thought, I'm comfortable selling, I don't like making phone calls, I'm not good at sales, those thoughts produce actions which produce results that are, I can almost guarantee they're not going to be what you want. So look at the thinking that's creating the results. And this is not just a sales idea. This is in all areas of your life. And then what the step before that is this concept called being. And I'm a student of a gentleman named Steve Hardison. Some of you may know that name. He's known as the ultimate coach. Brilliant, brilliant man. And his focus is actually what's in front of the thought. What's creating the thoughts that we have? And he would say it's your being. So two of the most powerful ways to be are service and loving. So if you show up as service, that's going to create a certain thought. So if I'm being service, I'm not going to think, well, I'm uncomfortable with sales. If I'm thinking of service in relation to acquiring new customers, because you might be like, well, Eric, I'm service all the time. In the enrollment process, in the sales process, are you being service or are you being in a place of anxiety? See, a lot of people they're fearing rejection. So their beingness is fearful. Their beingness is, I'm uncomfortable with selling. Then their thoughts are uncomfortable with selling. And then their actions are uncomfortable with selling. And then the results are not what they want. So if you show up, I'm here right now, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to give you the best content that I can in the short amount of time that I have to serve you. And I'm also showing up from a loving space. And people can feel that, right? They can feel it in an email. I got an email from somebody today. They weren't being loving. They were being judgmental and critical of me. And I could feel that. This is somebody on my team. They're a person on my team, and they were being judgmental and critical of me. And so that showed up. You just read the email. When you're having a communication with somebody, you can feel where they're coming from, right? So the thought, look at the thoughts that are creating the actions, which are creating the results, and then think about who are you being? Observe who you're being in your marriage. Observe who you're being with your team. If you have a team, observe who you're being when you're speaking. Observe who you're being in a sales process. All right, I want to give you one more insight, a specific language pattern. And the question is, why learn sales? Selling is a style of communication that increases the likelihood that the other person says yes. So some people look at sales as this: arm twisting, high pressure, manipulation, used car sales, liar, slick, fast talker. That's some people's worldview of sales. That's thinking. If this is your thinking about sales, then that's going to create the actions, which are going to create the results, which is not likely going to be what you want. I can almost guarantee it's not going to be what you want. So instead of looking at sales like this, what I invite you to consider is we're going to look at sales like this. Selling is a style of communication that increases the likelihood that the other person says yes. So there's this concept that if you have two dogs and one dog is resisting sales and the other dog is embracing sales, okay, you got two dogs. One dog's resisting sales and the other dog is embracing sales. The question is, which dog grows? And you might know the answer. The answer is whichever dog you feed. So how you feed yourself is through your thoughts, which Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, the whole point of the book, Think and Grow Rich, is you can influence your own thinking. So if you're feeding this dog, selling's arm twisting, it's high pressure, it's manipulation, I don't like it, I'm uncomfortable with it, I'm not good at it. If you're feeding those thoughts, then that's what your reality is. Or if you're feeding that selling is a style of communication that increases the likelihood that the other person says yes, and if you're feeding that selling equals service, either way, you're right. So what I invite you to do is to see, this is the same idea, but it's different. See the goal than others. So different, but the same. I can look at my wife and I can see all the things that I don't like about her. I can look at all the pet peeves. I don't like it when she does this. I don't like it when she does that. I don't like how she does the laundry. I don't like how she does the kitchen, whatever, right? I can see all that. And then I'm going to be living in a complaint about my wife. Or I can see the gold in her. And I can see all the amazing things about her and why she's the perfect wife for me and the most beautiful woman in the world. So the question is, well, which one is she? And the answer is whichever one I focus on. We've all heard for years and years and years, you get what you focus on. What's really true? So the question is, what are you focusing on as it relates to selling? So I'm talking to this gentleman in the UK the other day, and it wasn't really a coaching call, but we were Zooming together and I was talking to him and I said, are you a coach? And he goes, yes, I am a coach. Well, kinda. He goes, I'm a coach in hiding. So if we go back to what I taught you earlier, number 3, thought and language. So here's his thought and language. I am a coach in hiding. Now, this is a special kind of language. This is a declaration. See if I can get rid of that number there. It's going to do it for me. There we go. Okay. So his language is, I'm a coach in hiding, which produces actions, which produces results, which is called not having any clients. Because why? He's a coach in hiding. We've all heard of affirmation. So if I say I am lean and fit as an affirmation, I'm lean and fit, but I'm eating at McDonald's. I'm not being lean and fit. So when he says to me, I'm a coach in hiding, he's declaring that as a way of being. This idea below that I was talking about that I got from Steve Hardison. Being. He's being, I'm a coach in hiding. So instead of that, he could declare, instead of being a coach in hiding, watch this, guys. I just told him this. Instead of saying I'm a coach in hiding, just say, I'm a coach. I am a coach. Just declare I'm a coach instead of saying I'm a coach in hiding. Or watch this. I'm a coach with a full practice. Okay. I'm a coach with a full practice. So now he can declare that. And then if he does it as a way of being, in other words, he's showing up as that. He's showing up in the world as a coach with a full practice. So if he shows up in the world as a coach with a full practice, his actions will be a coach with a full practice and his results will be a coach with a full practice. So in 1988, 1990, 1999, when I launched my company, I was 28 years old and nobody had heard of me. And I declared, I am the Zig Ziglar of my generation as a way of being. In other words, I started showing up. My actions started being, what would the Zig Ziglar of my generation, what would those actions look like? And I started doing those actions. And then I started producing those results. And then I built an international training company, all out of a declaration. So words really matter. I'm living proof of it. I'm a former cook at McDonald's, college dropout, bottom producing salesperson. And now I train in companies all over the world. I work with awesome human beings like you guys, sharing my insights to help you in this area that my lane is sales. There's all kinds of things I could work with you on, but we're just working on this one idea today, which is embracing sales. And then this idea for you to consider that selling equals service. So I'm going to wrap with this very brief story, and then we can do some Q&A if anybody would like to ask any questions or share your viewpoint or whatnot. And so I have this client. This is him. He's a small business owner. He's a photographer and a videographer. And he comes to me, this is years ago. His name is Scott Southall. And he's like, I hate sales. That's his declaration. I hate sales. So that thought produces actions, which produce results. And he came to me after he signed up to work with me. you ever heard of shelf help? Not self-help, shelf help. You buy the course, you never take the cellophane off. So that was Scott. Like, he never even showed up for one of the Zoom calls or whatever it was, the modules. He just bought the course and did nothing. And then he came to me one day. He's like, I need your help. And I'm like, okay, what's up? He goes, I'm about to lose my studio. He can't pay the rent on a studio. Why? Because his declaration is, I hate sales. So his actions are, I hate sales, and his results are, I can't pay my studio rent. So we have this conversation. And I was asking him about the language that he uses when he asks for the order. And he goes, I don't have any of that down. So what I would suggest to you on the how-to side of sales training, which is not our topic today, but on the how-to side, I would suggest you're clear on your language, especially when you're asking for the order. So he wasn't clear. So now he's going to be winging it in the close. And always remember, when you wing it, you get wing it results. When you wing it, you get wing it results. So I got him clear on the language. So now he knew how to ask for the order. And then he practiced it by himself, and he role played it with his wife. So what I'm a big believer of, you got to lift the weights. Okay. You want to get better at something in your life, you got to lift the metaphorical weight. Working on my muscles, I'm literally lifting weights. But if we're working on our sales, you got to do what we're doing right now. We're lifting the weights right now. You're in class with me, we're lifting the weights. So Scott needed to lift the weights. So he has the precise language, and then he's lifting the weights, meaning he's reading it by himself. He's reading the script. Again, reading the script. Again, every time he reads it, he gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Then he role plays it with his wife. Every time he role plays what, he gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. So then he meets with a prospect. He closes the first sale he presents it to, because he had the precise language down and he lifted the weights. And then he did something I didn't tell him to do. He did this on his own. He was selling $500 to $1,000 packages. He goes, this is bold. He goes, I'm going to sell a $5,000 a month package, 12-month commitment. So he put a $60,000 package together, takes what I'm teaching him, starts selling that. As you can imagine, sales skyrocketed. So he's selling a higher priced product with confidence, now applying the methodology. But the origin of all this, if you want to create transformation in any area of your life, if you're wanting to lose weight, for example, and every time you go on a diet, you cheat on the diet, and that's your declaration. Every time I go on the diet, I cheat. And then your actions are that, and then your results are that. So you just change the language. And you say, when I go on a diet, I follow through. And then you be that, not as just words. You be follow through. You be your agreement with yourself. So these are things I'm passionate about, I'm excited about. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Adam.
Thanks, Eric. Outstanding presentation. Everybody give it up for Eric. Well, before I open it up for questions and comments, there's something that rivets me in what you were talking about. And I just would like you to go a little bit deeper, because I mean, you said be clear in your language, practice and rehearse, and that's important. You guys, we can do that in the mastermind. We'll help you get clear, and we'll help you practice. But Eric, you said observe who you are being. Could you give an example of that, how that's done, and how people could do that?
Sure. Well, look back in an experience you've had in your life where something didn't go so good. It might have been a divorce. It might have been an argument with one of your children. It might have been you having to let somebody go from your company. And when you let them go, it did not go well. And you can observe, how are you showing up? So I can think back with my ex-wife when we split up, and I can think, how did I show up during that process? And I did not show up well. I showed up as being angry. I showed up as this isn't fair, versus there's all these other ways that we could show up. And so it's something that I had never even considered before. I never in my life had ever thought about, who am I being? Like, if I let somebody go from my team, if it's not working out, I just let them go. But then, well, who am I being? Am I being kind? Am I like, they're now going to lose the income they were getting from me, which impacts them directly financially? Am I being compassionate of their situation? And so now I have a whole different way that I look at things. How am I showing up? What is my being? And so it's just observing how you're showing up. How did you show up in the past? How am I showing up right now? Who am I being right now? And then who do I need to be in the future to create the results that I want?
Really great perspective. Thank you. We spend our life looking from here out. So we're not in our observation. And when you look from behind and you see yourself in the observation and how you are in the relationships, how you are in your sales strategy, that's really important. Thanks, Eric. Cool. Open floor. Eric Lofholm is available for you.
I got a couple things.
Go ahead, Jay.
Real quick, Eric, if you could leave us or Adam with how we reach Eric and learn more from you, offline. So that'd be great. Contact information and all that. So listen, this is brilliant in its simplicity. It resonates a lot with what I do. And I know, Adam, we spoke about this the other day, kind of the difference in how I differentiate my product is more on that being side. I'm in career transition coaching. So, but my question, Eric, is, it is brilliant. It is the right thing. I'm 100% aligned, but you still now in the social media world, you still have to get visibility of people to show up with, right? And so we all get caught in these sales funnels of people and all that kind of stuff that is the action, right? And so that's not anything with being. There are some exceptions. So I guess my question is, how do you get, because you still have to get visibility. You still have to do the marketing of it to be able to provide the service. And I'm just wondering how you kind of, and maybe that's beyond the scope of this, but I'm just interested.
Yeah, it's a great question. How do we all get visibility, right? We want visibility. We want to get the word out about our awesome, whatever we do. And I'll give you my best tip. And it's what I'm doing right now. And the strategy is leveraging networks. So Starbucks went to Barnes & Noble and said, hey, can we put a Barnes & Noble over in the corner? Because they wanted to leverage all that foot traffic of Barnes & Noble, the 1,000 people a day that come into the Barnes & Noble, right. Starbucks wanted to leverage that. So what I do is I look for networks like what we have here. So Adam has a network of people that are the right kind of people for me to connect with. So I look to connect with people like Adam to then get opportunities like this. And so if you think about not just selling your product or service to somebody, but think about the network that they have. And so that is a really powerful thing that talk about visibility, yeah. Right? It's in this case, it's edified visibility, right? Because Adam's positioning me as, hey, Eric's the keynote, if you will. He's the expert to come on and train you guys. So it's not even just visibility. It's like visibility on steroids. So that's my short best answer for you.
Okay, thank you. Makes sense.
Let's give you some props, Jay. You have visibility. Jay has one of the most popular TikTok channels of anybody I know. How many visitors do you have over there, Jay?
I have almost 16,000 followers.
He's got 16,000 followers on TikTok. Yeah. Visibility, you got that covered. How do you turn that into sales? That's why we got you on here today.
Yeah. That's a big question, right? No.
Well, when you learn it, I got 9 people over here who want to leverage your network and edify you in the process.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Jay. Really appreciate you being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking.
Open floor for Eric.
Mark's got his hand up.
Go ahead, Mark.
I just wanted to comment on how grateful I am to have been here this morning. I've been wanting to connect, Eric, but what you are saying is just music to my ears. You're singing to the chorus. I just feel so aligned with the message. And my whole background is in sales as well. I've had tens of thousands of dollars in corporate sales training. And for a long time, I was doing it as you were saying, and they kept telling me I was doing it wrong. For the first 5 years, in fact, even though I was, top of sales, I was spending too much time with each person, building too much of a relationship and not covering enough of the turf, as they called it. So after 5 years of having the highest retention and the highest upsells, the lowest complaints, it's about building the relationships. And the idea that you were just talking about using these networks and coming to these networks where you have that know, like, and trust factor from the facilitator is just so absolutely perfect. But again, that's the marketing. You're talking about the sale. This is the enrollment conversation and the energy that you use to share that, the ripple effect of all the other people that are using this method to sell is just a wonderful feeling for me.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.
Happy to be here.
One thing, guys, I put my email and my cell phone in the chat, and my newest book is called Continuous Sales Improvement. And I have an audio version that's not even out to the public, which I'd be happy to give any of you for free. So if you just email me or text me, say, hey, I was on the call with Adam today, whether you're watching this live or the recording, eric@ericlofholm.com, or my cell phone there's in the chat. Just email or text me. I'm happy to send you that for free. And it's something I think if you enjoyed this, you'll really enjoy that content as well.
I will definitely reach out for that. I'll email you and look forward to connecting directly.
Awesome.
Well,
Thanks, Mark.
And thanks, Mark. And everybody who's on the call knows I build digital branding toolboxes. I put a link in there. All of Eric's information will be there. We'll have direct links for you to make it nice and easy. Sarah, I see you have your hand raised. The floor is yours.
Awesome presentation, Eric. Thank you so much for coming on. I do have a question, and that is, how important to you is storytelling in your sales process?
Yeah, storytelling is actually it's actually critical. And I think I'm going to share my screen here for 30 seconds. And I think I had it down here in my notes. Yep, it's right there. So I didn't know exactly how much time we had. And so if I had a little more time, I was going to go into storytelling because it's critical and nothing sells like success. So what the best practice that my mentor, Dr. Moyne, taught me is to determine the success stories you're going to tell in your presentation, and you want to know where you're going to tell them. So this is a story that I tell in my presentation. I won't go into the whole story right here, but this is a client of mine who got so much financial success, she was able to become a homeowner. I don't teach real estate. I teach you how to make more money with selling. So I tell the R.V. Robinson story, and then this gentleman ended up buying 6 rental properties with all the extra money he made. He retired his wife. She became a stay-at-home mom. So I will strategically tell these stories, and there's your story, there's your company story in some cases, there's your product story in some cases, and then those success stories. And they're really move the needle things that you can do in a phone or Zoom presentation or in public speaking. They're really, really important.
Thanks, Eric. And thank you, Sarah, for bringing your brilliance, your inquiry, and your beauty to our call. And Eric, if you don't know, that's my wife. You will know soon. Dina, I saw you with your hand up. Do you have a question?
I just really am excited because this has been like a journey of like the whole sales thing. Like I've been in sales jobs and had moments where I loved it and had moments where, and now applying that heart-centered way of connecting and sharing what I do now. And I'm finding I love bringing the whole presentation, and I'm really excited. I feel like I magnetized this to happen because I was just talking about magnetism and story and connecting and the power of your network. And then boom, I don't hear from you for months. And then all of a sudden, hey, Dina, this is going live. And I'm like, this is exactly what I needed to hear. So I just wanted to say thank you because I really feel like the whole way of thinking about sales really does change. I don't really have any questions as far as like, I feel like you would to ask if you feel like this is something that could be applied to someone selling art. And I feel like the answer would be yes, because it's all about the thought and anything is possible. So I feel like you answered my questions without me having to ask them.
Oh, that's fantastic. Any comments, Eric, other than Dina? Definitely get the audiobook.
Well, in relation to, would these techniques work selling art? Absolutely. At the end of the day, You're going to generate a lead, deliver a presentation, communicate about the art, and ask them to purchase. And the leveraging networks, identifying networks that are likely art buyers. I've heard stories of artists going on cruise ships and doing incredibly well. Why? Because the cruise ship has the artist customer. And so they do a joint venture. And so that's that leveraging networks type of concept. But absolutely, you could definitely apply this to selling art.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you again, Eric. Madeline, floor is yours.
Eric, thank you so much. Adam, we have a friend who we talk a lot about being. And when you brought that up, my heart just went bing, because the idea of sales used to make me cringe. Lately, this new thinking, for me anyway, has been working much better. So I just really want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You've confirmed something that I have been leaning into for, I guess, about 10 months now. And thank you for that. And I definitely appreciate you offering us the audio of your book. I will be listening. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for the kind words.
All right. Thanks, Maddie. Love you. Really appreciate you being here. Jay, floor is yours.
Yeah, it's not really a question, Eric, but it's just kind of another thing I wanted to point out. You had way at the end, which is like how you show up, right? So it's one thing about the being before the thought, but it's the other thing about showing up. And self-awareness has been proven to be the #1 aspect of emotional intelligence, the absolute cornerstone. And I think that's brilliant, and to be reminded of that is important for all of us. Definitely move some things in my mind. But the other thing is we have some blinders on sometimes, right? We may think we're showing up a certain way, which is why our internal language is also very important as well. I'm not really asking for a comment unless you have one, but I just have really resonated the fact that how we show up. I mean, you get all these sales manuals and how to do this and this, and sometimes you showed up like a deer in the headlights because you got to think of all these things to do. But just be you, and that's why I think these things of authenticity and all these words that are coming up now are so important. But really, they're not always followed. Somebody thinks they're authentic, but they're really not. But it really is how you show up, and being able to use that to your advantage, I think, is a big opportunity for all of us.
Absolutely. I'll agree with what you said. Well said.
Cool. Great contributions. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you, Eric, not just for your insight, your presentation, but for your generous offer. You can, anybody who wants it, who hasn't done it yet, go ahead, save the chat. That way you'll have Eric's information. Or of course, I'll post in Sales Booster. We'll have all of Eric's information in there for you. Any final parting words?
Are you asking me, Adam?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I just want to acknowledge all of you for being here today and for being open to learning and coming in. You did, we did 45 minutes worth of work. So great job. And I really enjoyed being here, and special thanks to Adam for putting this together, for organizing this, for promoting it, for all that he's doing for all of us, the community that he's created to help us succeed. So Adam, thank you for all you're doing.
You got it. You got it. And I want to thank everybody else. Without them, especially Sarah, there's no community. So we appreciate you. Thank you all for being on. I have it recorded. So we'll be, I'll post it so everybody can watch it. And thanks again, Eric. I know you got a wonderful family. You got good plans for the weekend?
I have not got there yet. So I was trying to get there today. I don't know what we have. We probably have something planned, but I don't remember.
Well, you have an enjoyable weekend, or whatever kind of weekend you want to have. Thank you, everybody. And we're out of here.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.